Talk about these heroes and these detailers and something that I do to make them work more better in your hands so that you can maneuver them better. You know that there's you got different blades. You got the wide blade and you got the shorter blade. But this is something that I do all the time to make my heroes or my detailers feel better in my hands. This is it's not even a secret, but this is something that I do, and I don't see anybody else doing it, so I want to put y'all onto it. And it's gonna make the clipper so much easier to use. I don't know why the company does this to the clipper, but I guess it's to protect the clipper, so I understand why. But what I do, right, you see this wire right here, you see this covering right here, I remove it all the way down to like right here. I cut it. I take a scissor, or I would suggest you get a scissor and you cut one by one until it opens, and then you pull it off and then you cut it. And then when you finish cutting it, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like this. Don't cut it all the way to the end, because when you cut it all the way to the end, you're gonna expose the wire, the inside wires, and then it's gonna be falling out, and then you're gonna have to replace the whole wire. So you cut it all the way down here, and then it's gonna look like this. Let me get a little close up. It's gonna look like that. If you could get it more neater, that's on you. But I always get rid of this, because when you hold in the clipper, you feel this thing right here. It's always pulling and tugging. It's always pulling and tugging at your hands. Whenever you're holding the clipper and it has this thing on it, you hold it like this, you can see that you can see that the resistance of the wire is pulling your hand. So you have to be like extra careful when you're using it. Not careful, but you gotta be extra what's that word? It's almost like you have to fight the wire while you're cutting the hair. See? Look. It's pulling your hand. So when you take it off, you cut it off like this one, look, quick, boom, 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 it's quick. When it's still on there, look, it's like it kind of resists. It's a resistance. It's like you're working out or something. You don't want your hands to feel like that. The object of the game is to free your hands as much as possible. That's why the wireless clippers are good, and the small clippers are good too. But when they have those things on them, it kind of holds you back in a way, and you don't want that. You want clippers to be free. That's why they cut these off. We want freedom in the clippers so that our hands can be free. That's what I promote, freedom of hands. So I cut these off. Use a little scissor. I'm going to show you how I do it in a second. Just hold on. And then you peel it off to the far. You can cut it halfway too. As long as you cut it halfway or three-fourths of the way, it'll work good. And then you cut it off, but don't cut it too far to where you're gonna hurt your wire, and you're gonna have to change it. All right. So I'm gonna show you how I cut it, and then that's a jewel for you right there. Okay, well, let me show you how it's done. So you're gonna get a scissor or a razor blade. I suggest a scissor because you could avoid cutting your wire with the scissor. The razor blade, it'll cut through that wire unless you know what you're doing with the razor blade. But I suggest the scissor. But as you can see, I'm
cutting one by one little piece at a time. I did, however, make a mistake as I was cutting, because I was kind of pushing a little bit too hard. I felt like I was digging and rushing a little bit. But just to show you that it can happen. So I kind of sacrificed my clipper. You see that little cut right there? I slit the wire. I slit the wire to the white meat. Yeah, now you see the white part of the wire. That means I cut it too deep, but it's okay. If you wanna, as long as you don't cut it to the part where it's too crazy. But as you can see, I'm pulling it back a little bit. I'm pulling the foreskin back of the pause. But when you get that part off, it depends on how far you want to go. If you want to pull it further than that and cut deeper, then that's cool. But right there, you can get away with right there and be good if you feel like you want to leave the protection on the mirror, on the clipper, or leave the foreskin on the clipper. Pause. But as you can see, I did a little slitting, and it's okay. I mean, you could do a little tape right there, or you could leave it right there because it's a small little cut. You know, it's not like it's cut deep. But I took it off, and now I like to go a little bit further, so I kind of like to peel off, little by little, to even it out, to make it look as neat as possible, because you want it to look neat. But this little trick right here, it goes a long way. It might seem simple. Some people are not going to want to do this because they like their clipper to look a certain way, and they like the part of the wire to be on there. It's all a mental thing. But this right here, you see that little cut? It's okay. But this type of technique, when you finish it, look, now you're able to maneuver the clipper more comfortably, and you're going to be able to cut a little bit better. It's going to feel better. You're not going to feel the resistance of that wire. I'm a real Bob!